starting recording. So with that in mind, so you've got we've got Bill and he's a Marth.
Yep.
Nice.
First one. I guess we'll just start with the Dreamland one.
Excellent. Just loading it up. And talk to me. So how do you feel about this matchup? Like, what's the basic game plan? Yeah, just how do you approach it? Like, how do you win?
Game plan's not my strong suit. I just run back and forth, and when I get bored, I like try to just hit him with the move, and that will be a big combo starter. That's actually my game plan.
Okay. So with this, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm just watching this in like slow-mo. I'm gonna watch this in 0.75 just once because I just want to see what's going on as a whole. And like, if you have any moments that you see that you want to like flag, so we can come back to them, we can tag them here. But it's just kind of like getting a sense of like the match what does the match look like from start to finish? Because I don't like doing just like snippets without seeing this, because we don't get adaptations, reads, and things like that. Like, this is context basically.
Mm-hmm.
So far it looks like you have good awareness of percents. Like, you knew that he was around 30 after being thrown, so you can so up throw is a little bit better than usual. Then back air is at knockdown percent. This is good. I haven't really seen much nair and up air. Can you talk to me about that? I think those are really good moves, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. This guy is like very good, and he like scares me because he's like a really good player. I find that when I use nairs against him, he just CC grabs me a lot. So I'm like, it um like deters me from using the move. But I could just be doing them like in a way that's not safe.
Okay. So if he's doing CC grab, like, is he like just holding down? Like, is he? Because there's two types of crouch cancel, right? You've got the one where you're actually crouching, which has the knockback reduction, and then you have the other one where it's like they're just holding down. So they're just kind of like DIing towards the ground and then like snap to it before knockback happens. The first one requires them to do crouch. The other one does not. Do you know? They can be like a grabbing and holding down. Which one do you think he's doing usually?
I know that there's a difference. I really don't know the difference.
Okay.
I think he's probably doing the one where he's just holding C stick down.
Yeah.
I think that's ASDI down, right?
Yep. That is absolutely, that is what it is.
This is knowledge that I pick up from like listening to people that are better than me talk about the game in the call. So if I get anything obviously wrong, just feel free to.
Oh, I will. Again, like, I don't think that you're gonna get anything like super wrong, especially if your knowledge is picked up. But I think there might be some things that are like, there'll probably be some misconceptions. So let me ask you: every time you get grabbed by this guy, do you die?
More often than not, yeah. He's like a pretty good punish game, especially against Falcon.
Okay. So
I
is
think my
that
defense isn't
and
the
that's
best,
the reason
though.
you're not nairing, right? Because it's just things go wrong when we like nair.
Yeah.
Okay. But you just jabbed him though. Like, jab's also crouch cancelable, so why is that one okay to go for, but like nair isn't?
I guess I don't have a good reason, but I guess just the reason is it seems like he's punished it less. Maybe because it's faster and it's harder for him to react to.
Okay, makes
I don't
sense.
know though.
No,
Not
that
in his
makes
head.
sense. So what I would point out here is you don't have to nair at the same timing, right? Like, because the thing about aerials is that we can do them when we're going up in our jump. We can do them at the peak of our jump. We can do them while we're going down in our jump. We can do them with drift forward, drift back, no drift, slight drifts. We can jump forward and then pull back. We've got our double jump to work with. We've got fast falls to add to this. Like, there's a lot of things going on with things like Falcon Air in general. So with all those options, how easy do you think it is to crouch cancel grab it if you use all of those effectively?
It's probably significantly difficult to cover all of them, especially like if you're. I guess I'm just not spacing it well enough, because I space it well and he tries to like whiff a grab. that's really good for me. So I guess I'm not doing that.
Well, it's not just spacing; it's also timing, right? Because like you could also have
Yeah.
the second hit really close to the ground, and then if that happens, that maximizes that gives you a lot more frame advantage. So you might be able to just like run away before he can hit you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's not like when they crouch cancel grab, they lose all their stun; they just lose most of it. But like you can do the thing about when you're as fast as Falcon and you have as much like range as him and speed, you can do a lot with a little, right? So that's kind of one thing I'd point out here. So let's rewatch this and let's kind of like talk about like spots where we could potentially get more bang for a buck because we saw and add some structure to our game plan. So I actually really like this back air, but there's one thing that afterwards I don't really like about it. What do you think it is?
I think it looks like I missed an L cancel. I was on the ground for a while. Or either that or I just didn't dash.
I think it's actually you didn't dash because I think you actually auto-canceled this landing. Yeah, you did.
Okay. So then I didn't dash afterwards.
Why do we have to dash though? He's above us. And we just auto-canceled.
My first instinct was to dash.
I know.
I guess I just don't think I have the... Oh, maybe I can up air really fast if I do a fast up air here, but I just don't... I didn't register I can do a move above me that would beat him. I mean, he's in hit stun.
Yeah, he is in hit stun. So when does he come out of hit stun? Probably right about like here?
Yeah, let's probably right here.
I mean, so he shakes out. So like, yeah, probably around like this spot. So yeah, you've got time to act. Will the up air combo? Probably not. But what can Marth do to defend himself against it from below?
He can like dare do the... I don't know what it is, but he does like the dare, and then it's a weird spike on the ground that he can grab out of. I don't know the percents of that though, but I know he does that sometimes. I don't know if he does it in this match, but
okay,
it's a thing he likes to do. But I guess I could CC that. Well, I definitely could have CC'd that.
Well, if we're up airing, right? Like if we're up, like let's say we up air right now. Like we'd probably be in the air at this point, right? So we'd probably be like just trading with him.
Yeah.
So then he puts us on the floor, but we don't get knocked over yet because our damage is too low. So then he just takes 13 and stays in the air. Like that seems good for us.
Okay.
What I'm trying to
do you think CC is the best option there, or do you think up air is the best option? Like I was thinking CC might be a little bit better.
I actually I think there's two options that really appeal to me. The first one is the one that we both kind of gravitated towards immediately, which is to dash dance. The reason I like dash dance is because we're in the middle of Marth, right? So is Marth good at covering both sides of himself really well, or does he cover one side of himself better than the other?
I think forwards is much better. Back air's a lot slower and is worse than forward air.
And it's way laggier, exactly.
Yeah.
And his down air hits in front and then comes behind, so like it's slower there too. And then same thing, his up air is not relevant. Neither is his nair, because again, hits in front and then hits behind. So yeah, like behind him is amazing. So with us being in the middle, we just dash to this side, and what does he do, right?
Yeah. Worst case scenario for us is just a reset. But best case scenario, he whiffs something and we can punish with a big grab or something.
The best case scenario, he sees us like dash this way and he jumps this way, and then we up air him and he's dead. Like
oh yeah, the double jump catch.
Yeah, like because we're in a power position here. Like Marth above Falcon in the middle of the platform configuration, but he can't get to any of them with his immediately with his jump. Like, yeah, this is like money. This is like the dream. So with this in mind, yeah, like I think dash is the obvious one. I think that the one, if we do the up air, or even if we back air again, we kind of use that same principle to attack this side. Because again, like this is where his back air would be, so we're kind of like attacking his right side because because he's facing this way. So then we don't have to like worry about his tools all that much. This is actually a really good concept for low percent game in general, which is why I wanted to pause here. A lot of low percent game, the combos and strings people hit are not true, believe it or not. So low percent game is more about like how can we, if we're gonna scrap with them after we hit them with like a blow like this one where we have some amount of frame advantage, like we have enough to basically start our next play while they're in stun, but they're probably not stunned by the time our attack is coming out. So with that in mind, the name of the game is really like, where do Marth's attacks hit most effectively? So where would you say his fair hits?
Like, oh man, the math skills are coming out. On the left side, probably like 45 degrees up from the center and then 45 degrees down from the center pretty well.
So like around this kind of area.
Like roughly, yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And it probably hits like a little bit further out than this, so like something like maybe this kind of area? Because it hits a little bit above him, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, something like that. Because I know that it hits like pretty far down here. So this would be his fair. Then for his like down air, same idea, but kind of like it's kind of more like going behind him, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But we also know that it's a lot slower. So that's something that we have to keep in mind. So like this area is not actually that cover. Like it starts here but goes this way. So what we have here is like we're kind of creating a mental map of like where Marth's attacks hit, and then we're structuring that like how we approach this situation off of that. So you know how I asked you like that Jigglypuff question in the survey? This is kind of like what we did there. You told me in that question. You told me 4 and 6, and then 4, 6, and then 8. I don't actually include 2 because I don't think dare is a problem. But the idea behind that one is like we usually see people like play below Jigglypuff or they attack from diagonals, and that's because her kit just happens to have like problems with covering those areas. This is what we're basically doing to Marth. Like his nair hits here, like around this area, and it's like a 2-hit, but it mainly hits in front and then hits here. His up air hits like above him, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense for us to attack this kind of front. Because his back air is his slowest aerial, and it covers this area. So if this is his slowest aerial, and everything else starts in front of him, this is really the spot we want to be attacking him. So yeah, I'd also consider like jumping up with like back air or up air here. In addition to dashing this way. Dashing's the safest, and he's at low damage, so grabbing him's really good. But yeah, I think that attacking him straight up is absolutely an option. I realize that was a lot of information, but what are your thoughts?
No, this is good. I never really considered, like, as a general idea to move, like, around a person to their bad side. Yeah. That's never really crossed my mind.
Well, what other characters have, like, a good side and a bad side? Or, like, a side that works differently than, like, their front or something? Like, Jigglypuff's an easy one, but is there anyone else you can think of?
Trying to... Like, Sheik has a much longer direct range at the back air, but it's not as solid of a move as forward air, and it's too fast.
Okay.
Her down air is pretty punishable, I think.
Yeah, her down air sucks. Like, it's a great combo move, but it's really bad at neutral. So, like,
so if you're just flying in the air, you can...
Yeah, I love... Absolutely. Space animals. Space animals are kind of like that, too, right? Because their nairs, like, if we think about where... Like, if this is Fox, like, here, and, like, this is where he's got his tail, and he's, like, facing this way, and he's got his weird ears. And that was not a good snout, whatever. It's like he looks like a platypus, kind of, but whatever. His back air hits more, like, out, like, here, like, up into the side, but his nair hits more like here, right? Same thing with his drill, which hits like this air, like that, the space like below him, but also mainly in front. So there's kind of like a weak spot around here that we have to go in on him. So like a lot of times the rule of thumb with fighting space animals is if they're facing towards you, you aim for their head.
Is this like from like if you're above them? Because I feel like if you're in neutral, it's kind of hard to aim for like the head because they have good like anti-air things.
Yeah, but like so. Okay, this is actually a really good one. So, what happens if you're both what happens if they jump at you and you jump in place? Whose short hop goes higher?
Between Falcon and
Fox.
the Spaceys?
Falcon and Fox.
I think Falcon's goes higher.
Right. So, if you both jump at each other, if he jumps at you and you're like you're like jumping in place. If he jumps at you and you're jumping in place, or if you're just jumping next to each other, and you do your back air or your nair, you're just kind of naturally in the spot where, like, it hits his head, right?
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
That kind of makes sense because I feel like that's how my nairs beat Fox's nair in trades a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a decent chance, like it's a bad trade if they do it right. Like, obviously it's like placement and timing it, but
yeah, it's a
complex
complex
like when
system.
I'm hitting them, they're like just coming up and I'm already in there, and then they get poked in the head.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, same idea here, like, except we're just like we have a different, like, we're just attacking a different part of him. Like, instead of going for his head, because Marth actually covers his head pretty well with his like fair and his up air, we're going over here for his like this side of his body, because this is where he struggles to cover himself. Because it's like really this space here that's like Marth's weak spot. Marth is kind of like a turtle. Like, he's kind of like, I don't mean that disparagingly. Like, I mean like he literally has a soft underbelly. So yeah, so like this is this area, his legs, and this part of his side, because he's like, he has no backhand whatsoever. Very, very forehand player. This is kind of like the good spot to attack him in general. And it's kind of similar to attacking Fox's head, like how we've discussed that, because it sounds silly, but like a lot of these concepts are just, where does the opponent not cover themselves well? Okay, hit that. Peach, when she's facing towards you, it's also her head. Like if she's floating, because her fair is really slow, and her up air is only out for like a frame or two, and then everything else is kind of like slanted forward or behind her. So, yeah, just punch her in the face or kick her in the face. It works.
Yeah, no, this is good. I've never heard of hit them in like their weak spot as like a way to look at the matchup. I've only ever heard of like how their moves interact in like a neutral situation.
Well,
I've never thought of like where the moves hit.
Well, it's a good thing that Smash Brothers Melee is characterized by slow combat in like extremely static positions where like neutral and like prolonged neutral. Because like if it wasn't, then like that would probably be very like bad advice, and like not a very good explanation.
Exact opposite.
I know. Okay, let's talk throw combos real quick. So when we throw this guy onto the platform, what's the plan here? I know that up throw up air is fine at this percent, but what else can we do here? Because I feel like this guy is gonna slide this off like this guy knows slide off, like that thing where they clip the edge. Okay, cool. So what else could we do here?
My initial thought is try to like jump, like hope he doesn't do a get up attack and I get poked out of it, and then do double jump, and then read his roll with the stomp, or like react to his roll with a stomp.
Why do we have to like wait though? Like, why do we have to like hope that he doesn't get up attack?
Because if he does it immediately, then he'll like clip me when I'm jumping up there.
I don't know if he will. So like let's look at this throw real quick. So I would bet that he cannot clip you if you do the up throw stomp properly.
Okay.
Because like, so let's look at when he's like hits the platform relative to us. Mm-hmm. So you're actionable about now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we start jumping here, okay. Can you hit, if he teched in place here and you just jumped up with stomp immediately, would you be able to hit him?
No, I don't. Oh wait, you mean double jump, or just do a weird nipple spike or something?
Just full hop, stomp, fast fall.
No, I don't think so. I I didn't realize I had that much time.
Okay. But now that you know you have that much time, if you did it immediately, do you think you'd be able to do that, though?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So there we go. Like, that's the question I'm asking. Like, is it possible?
Mm-hmm.
So if that's possible, I agree. Absolutely we can do that. So I think that what I want us to break out, what I think the big focus here with these platforms is, how often would you say that he just rolls to the edge for slide off? Probably a lot, right? Like, it's...
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like the best thing to do usually.
Exactly. Unless somebody knees them.
Yeah.
Because knee does not actually allow people to slide off against it.
Because it just the way it, like, the angle it sends, it doesn't let you slide off.
It actually has to do with a hit lag rule. So this is a mechanics thing, but like the way that slide off. Has anyone ever explained how slide off works to you?
No, I have no idea how it works. I just figure you're kind of like grounded, and the game thinks he's not grounded anymore, so he's in neutral state.
Yes, that's actually it. But it's produced a very specific way. So we're gonna make a handy dandy diagram. So you're gonna learn how to do this, and you're also going to can you slide off? Do you know how to do this?
I can never remember if it's I know it's down on one stick and then left or right on the other, but I just never remember which is which.
Okay. So we're going to do a crash course on DI mechanics so that you can do this and that you can be more effective going forward. So we're going to make 2 circles for the control stick. One of them is control stick, the other is C stick. So let's start with the control stick. Let's start with the C stick side of things because it's actually the easier one. So we're going to pretend that we're the Marth player here. How do you think he needs to DI to do the slide off? Like what? So you said that he needs to like hug the ground and then basically like go into airborne. Like the game thinks he's on the ground, but he's not actually, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're actually inducing that first part. So from this position, what we're doing is there's kind of 2 inputs for this. I'm gonna do the one that's more consistent for starting, and then I'll show you the other one. What we're doing is the C stick controls something called ASDI. Have you ever heard that term? We've used that term for describing like holding down and like hugging the ground, right?
Yeah, but I don't really know the properties. Like, I couldn't tell you the difference between ASDI and SDI.
That's fine. They're the same thing, except there's one key difference. ASDI it can be held, whereas SDI needs to be tapped or like involves motion. But they both do the same thing, which is they are a weak smash DI input that shifts your character towards something, like in a direction, upon getting hit.
Okay.
So are you with me so far?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Perfect. So we're going to use this as a representation of Marth. Marth is here right now as far as the game is concerned, because like this would be his ECB, like his collision box. This is what the game uses to figure out whether or not he's going to land on something or not. This is the platform. So with this ASDI input, what are we doing? We're hugging the floor and moving towards it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then what do you think we're doing on the C stick to get up? But we know that they're sliding off the platform. So what do you think the Marth is doing with the control stick, which deals with trajectory? The control stick deals with like our actual like the arc that our character moves in, like when we DI something. It doesn't deal with like little shifts. Like it doesn't deal with ASDI the way the C stick does. It can, but like if they're both holding an input, the C stick comes first. This one has priority. So where do we think the Marth has to be holding to slide off the platform from up here?
So like left.
Yeah, exactly. Usually it's left or left and down, but like basically it's like something like this. It's one of these two, usually. So you see what's happening. We're hugging the ground with the ASDI down into like towards the platform input, and then the trajectory DI is taking us off. That's all that's happening. What the knee does is, the knee has so much electrical knockback, though, that it doesn't allow the C-stick to properly grip the platform. Because the ECB changes and shifts, like, a little bit upwards during the getting hit animation. Because the extra hit lag, it just causes the animation to flip to, like, the flying away one, while the character is still on the platform. So it's just like a weird property of electric moves in general. They have to do a certain amount of damage. Your knee will always do that much damage if you sweet spotted. But yeah, knee can't actually be like, it doesn't. You can't OMS attack it unless you're like one of 6 characters, and you can't slide off on it usually unless you're one of 6 characters, and Marth is not one of them.
Okay.
Yeah. The others are like they're like Donkey Kong and Mewtwo, so like, and Jigglypuff, so like, don't worry about it. But yeah. Knowing this, if you were thrown on the platform by Marth, how let's say you go this way, what would the input look like if you wanted to slide off?
So probably like right or down to the right on the gray stick, and then down and a little bit to the left on the yellow stick.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what you do. Not so wacky now, is it?
Yeah, it's not wacky, but remembering it is gonna be the issue when I'm in the game.
Okay.
I'll try.
So if you were thrown by Marth onto this platform, how would you do it? Like, what would your input be? Well, walk me through like how you would set up your hands for that.
So I would probably use the gray stick to tech left, and then just hold it there, and then hold the yellow stick down.
Well, down and forward, right? Like down and slightly. Yeah, down and slightly towards the platform. Yeah, that's how I do it.
Does the slight angle like matter a lot? Like just down doesn't work as well, because you have to go. Oh, because you have to stay on it, and you're like basically at the very edge, so you have to go a little bit in.
So you don't So actually, that's a very clever. It's very clever that you picked up on that. So, you are right. You don't always need the down and forward. You don't always need the down and forward input. Actually, you can actually get away on a lot of things with just down. I personally don't think there's an advantage most of the time to doing just a down. The reason for that is, the way that during specific frames of your character's tech roll and their like no tech roll, they may be off the platform as far as the ECB is concerned. So what happens is, if your character is considered like not actually on the platform, let's say they're here, and you do just down, you cannot slide off. Because what happens is your character's moving like this, but they need to move like this. Because when they move like this, they're just moving down and off the platform. They're not on the platform. They're not returning to it. So what happens is they get hit, and then they just go this way and like have the stun that they would have had from getting hit out of the air. The purpose of slide off is so that we cling to the platform. So we want to make sure we're like aiming our body towards it where possible.
Okay.
Have you ever had the experience of like, you know that it was like a move that was definitely slide offable, just from like experience, from like intuition, like you just know in your heart, but you got hit and kind of got sent at the natural combo angle anyway, even though you had everything lined up with like down on the C stick, off the platform. This is why that happens.
Okay. I definitely feel like that the situation that pops in my head is that happening on Pokemon Stadium when Marth getting up tilted on Marth, where I think I can I'm pretty sure I could slide it off, but I just get popped up anyway.
Okay. So this is another good exception case. We're learning a lot about defense.
No, I'm just naming all the exceptions.
No, but this is good. So like, the way that slide off works, remember, it is it assumes we're getting hit this way, right? But Marth's up tilt doesn't hit that way. It hits like this. Because if you think about how his sword works, like, it's not that, like, with the up tilt, it's not that he's hitting us, like, this way and we fly that way. We go kind of through him, don't we? So that is why it doesn't work on Marth's up tilt. This is also why it wouldn't work on Peach's down smash. Because it's kind of like pulling you into it. If the move pulls you into it, it won't work on slide off. This kind of slide off setup will not work on it.
Okay.
So it also has to do with the direction of the attack. That's a really good catch. Marth's up air and his fair are slide offable because they don't have a direction other than forward or no direction in the case of up air. So there's no bias, like there's nothing pulling them back towards the platform naturally. What this does mean for you though is if you wanted to be really cheeky, you could actually jump this way. If you know he's gonna roll in, you can actually jump this way and knee him like this, like knee him this way. And it's very
like the reverse, yeah.
Yeah, like you just from here you just like jump backwards and then just like boom, knee, just like in this general direction. And sometimes you can get like some really, really, really stupid conversions off of that. a lot of that is kind of nonsense, but like you would be surprised. Like you live in a region with none for long enough, and you see it all.
I love me some nonsense.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Like nonsense.
I love nonsense.
Nonsense is the best. So I think we're good to like kind of continue from here. But did you find that helpful? Like, does this make any more sense or?
Yeah, no, this is definitely helpful. I just had one question.
Yeah.
I know that some characters have a good, like they up throw a plat and then like Fox does this a lot to me, where they up throw onto a plat and then you go onto it and then like tech chase with the grab. Is Falcon a character that's like is like good off that? I feel like he wouldn't be, but I wouldn't know. Like that's why I'm asking.
So I guess my question here is like, what are those characters getting off the grab? That like, what is the utility of the grab there? Like, why do those characters want the grab?
I don't really know.
Well, think about it. Like, if Fox goes up there and gets the grab, what can he do with his grab up there? Like, he can chain grab?
Up throw up air and then like do the up air chains on platforms, I think.
Yeah, okay. So Falx combos upwards and then he's going up with the opponent when he's comboing upwards. That makes sense. How does Falcon usually combo?
Usually like to the sides.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I don't think it makes as much sense for him to go up there because he doesn't really use the height that effectively. He's more like he wants runway for his like dash jumps and stuff, right? So yeah, there you go.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just like what he's doing is not the same as what Fox is doing because he's just different. He's not the same character.
Different dude.
Yeah, exactly. Good edge grab. Okay, we're gonna watch this other game in real time quickly but the biggest thing that I think that we're seeing here is I think we have a lot to work with this low percent concept and I think we need to be more confident with using our nairs because we're instead in lieu of these nairs we're going for things like this. And like we are better than that. Like we can do better. We can absolutely do better than that. I'm not saying that knee is bad, but like to do it out of shield like towards him. Also, that up air is a great example of the kind of thing we need with our nair. You see how how you're hitting him almost like the frame before landing. If we do this with our second hit nair, it has the same kind of safety as this move. So this is really kind of like what we're looking for with our nairs. So we need to have more confidence in going for those things so that we can actually go for our like strong tools. Yeah? Did I cut out? Yo, you there? Uh-oh.
Hello? Sorry,
hey.
I think I just DC'd. No,
okay.
I think I DC'd.
Okay. No worries, no worries. Everything okay?
I'm back. I think I DC'd yet again.
Okay. Is it like is it an internet thing in your area or something or?
Yeah, my internet is notoriously bad.
Okay. All I was saying is that like we just need to get you like so you're going for a lot of like really well placed like up airs. You're also using your knee like you're going for knees in spots where I also think that nair would be like more effective at these very low percents. So I just think that we need more confidence in our nair overall. The other option that's pretty good at low damage is stomp, just because it is harder to hit. But it does break crouch cancel and allow you to grab after pretty early, like as early as 0. So, I think that we can watch the other match if you want in real time. But personally, I think that like just thinking about like where we want our moves to hit on the opponent's body, and then using our just being greedier about our platform combos and using our time more effectively, and then just like basic defense and countermeasures against their defense. I think that's a lot for us to work with. How do you feel about playing some games on like unranked or ranked or whatever?
I was pretty happy about it, but now that my internet cut out, we'll see. If I start losing packets, we'll just adapt.
Yeah, we'll finish watching this through, but I'm curious. I actually want to see specifically what you do at the low percent here.
I'm so bad at low percents versus mid weights. It's like disgusting how bad I am.
Well, see, we're doing moves that like don't even hit the like like if that had been a stomp, it could have done something. Like I would look for more stomp personally. Stomp, using your Nair, like, kind of like how you've done the up airs, like, that was good. Okay. So we have to be using our aerials after our throws, like, more effectively, and just going for, like, cleaner follow-ups in general. Do you, when you're comboing mid-weights, like, what would you say, what are the moves that work well on mid-weights, in your experience, for combos?
Just spamming up airs, basically.
Okay. So, even at this low percent at 24, I would agree with you. We still just, like, want to, because the thing about up airing them at this kind of percent is even if they can't get comboed by the second one guaranteed, we can play the mix-up in the resulting situation very effectively. Like, imagine if we just up air him and he goes over here, right? He finishes here, he comes down with fair, we just dash dance grab him again, and then we can pop off. Like, I think we need to be willing to play those kinds of, like, simple 50-50s, where we're just like, okay, are you gonna swing or not? Because that is one of the big perks of being one of these two characters. Like, the fact that they can kind of throw you, tap you, and then, like, play the advantage state really effectively after the fact, that's just one of their strengths.
Yeah, I think I definitely have to improve at that, because I always just try to continue the combo as long as possible, but I think, like, with how good people's defenses are, it's just kind of not nearly as reliable.
Yeah, and, like, we're more efficient too. So, like, I would say that, like, combos, like, everyone can kind of do their character's standard B&B, but like, a lot of defense has developed for that. So usually if somebody goes 0 to death, it's because they figured out what countermeasure the opponent is doing about the standard line, like, whatever the standard line is, and then they're just, like, punishing it really, really hard. So I think we need to, like, we need to up our basics, and then from there we can decide how we, like, how we order off the menu, or, like, how we push advantage once we see what people are doing about those. But I'm gonna give you my spectator code. And then we're gonna try this out, and if it doesn't work, we'll adapt, but we're gonna give this a whirl.
Okay, I don't know what a spectator. Do I just?
That's okay. I'll walk you through it. So in Slippy, is the game running?
Not yet.
Okay, once the game's running, let me know.
Okay, it's running.
Perfect. So we copy and paste that code into the spectate tab. So next to play should be the third one over. And then it'll be share your gameplay, start broadcast. So you click start broadcast, you paste it, and you should be good.
That's cool. I didn't know that had this feature.
Yeah, it's really useful too, because, like, I get to see what people are. I think it's just like the replay information that I get sent. So yeah, it doesn't, like, the only thing is with, like, crystal melee and stuff, it sometimes is a little wonky, but yeah. Are you playing with any, like, custom skins or anything like that? Or okay, no, I can see the game. Perfect. Excellent. I liked how you did that nair. Try to, like, do the nairs more as, like, a wall. With overshoots, like, when you're going into their territory like that, like, with, like, the first one where you went all the way over, I would just go for a higher impact move. Like, I would go for knee or, like, stomp or something. Because Nair is probably not going to win those exchanges anyway, and if, like, we're basically calling them out on a retreat. So if that's the case, then, yeah, go for something where we get bigger payoff.
Okay.
Okay, I would have refreshed invincibility on that edge guard, but it's all good. Because it takes the guesswork out of his timing.
Oh, I tried to beat him there. I held down.
That was a really good attempt. I like the idea.
This guy's juiced.
Use your double jump, like instant double jump, to, like, kind of go around, like, where his lasers and short hop aerials go. Ooh, very nice. Okay, let's go. Good effort. Good attempt. Oh, yeah, you could have up-aired out his shield there, but that's fine. Nice. He's dead. You're juiced. Easy clap. Nice. So, how'd that feel?
Scary.
Really?
Stressed, yes. Stressed out of my mind.
But did you have fun, though?
Oh yeah, hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm trying to learn the... I know it's like very tight. I'm trying to do the tap jump that Wizzy said.
Honestly, good on you for trying to learn it.
My bad, dude. Yeah. Don't blame him.
Okay.
Try one more, dude, and see if it's a... Or if you want to just go on, it's fine.
No, it's cool. We'll try one more. But yeah, how do you find getting the feedback in the actual matches to go? Oh, Marth, let's go. So we want to use our Nair a little bit more because we weren't really using it before. And we can also use our grab and stuff and stomp and yeah, I'm just like we'll just play.
Okay, let's go to
next match.
Yeah, I think just it's too bad.
That's okay.
Try, yeah.
We tried.
It's been pretty good. Like most of the week, I don't understand.
Something I've kind of come to accept about like internet, it does what it wants sometimes.
Yeah, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
Did I send you the other link or?
Yep, you did. So I'm just pulling that up now.
In-match feedback is good. I think it'll be better if I look at the VOD and see it, because I've already forgotten like 5 seconds ago what you started explaining. You know what I mean?
I just said to like Nair versus Marth.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean, but like when you explain the situation I was just in, like when you Nair, like I don't know what you said exactly, but you said something like, when you started giving me advice on FD, I like didn't remember the situation that you were talking about.
Okay. Yeah, so I've got this. Can you see my screen?
Yep, I can see your screen.
Perfect. Okay, so this is the second match. So that's actually like the kind of like the stomp I was telling you about it when you were playing. Like, and in the previous set actually. Yeah, like stomp grab at 0. It's very good. Why are we trying to up air like what like? So when we hit this trajectory, like, when do you think you've decided what you're doing with this combo?
I think I just do it in the moment. I don't think I think I just maybe thought he would be higher, so I would go for the up air.
Okay.
That's like my instinct, which is just not knowing percents, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like, percents, it's kind of percents. It's also just trajectories, right? I think of them more in terms of trajectories because percents are kind of not super consistent about stuff like that. What with, like, Smash DI and everything. So I think of it more about, like, where is the opponent's arc moving? Have you ever in Uncle Punch, like, looked at DI display?
No, I don't think so. I just downloaded Uncle Punch for, like, the first time a week ago or something.
Okay. So Uncle Punch is something relatively new to you then, right?
Yeah.
I think that Uncle Punch might actually be more useful than like what we're going to do here, because I think that that's actually a good add-on to what we're doing here. How do you... What? Can you boot it up for me and share your screen?
Boot it up.
Perfect.
Screen involved.
Okay, so let's go into training lab. We're gonna go Captain Falcon and put the computer to whoever you want. Marth is fine. Yeah, FD is fine. Okay, so, okay, you know about that. Cool. So if we pause, let's go into general. Let's turn DI display on. So it should be the bottom. It should be, yeah, just further down. And then what we're going to do is let's go into CPU because like, yeah, we're going to turn smash DI frequency to none.
Okay.
And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to just put his damage to like, say like 20. And then we're going to create a save state quickly so that we can come back to this. Perfect. Now just hit him.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. That's
arc.
useful, right? And it
Yep.
shows you the arc. So try him out. Yeah, so it should be right on the, I think, the D-pad to save and then left to load.
Yeah, I always mix them up.
Okay, I mean, that happens. But you can see, like, it's just, it doesn't do it with throws, but, like, you can see how the arc, like that, it's basically just like a vector. And when things start to, like, deviate from that vector, like if the opponent is, how do I put this? Once the opponent starts to, like, travel outside the path of, like, the trajectory, of the natural trajectory, that you'd expect, that's probably when they've regained their, control of their character, because that's where drift would be applied. So now it's no, like, and I think you've seen that before, like, if you've been up smashed and then you're like character and you're holding away and your character starts to kind of like shift based on your input at the end of stun, that's why that happens basically.
Okay.
So that can be a way that you can learn to recognize when the opponent is in stun and when they're not. Yeah, because their character will like move a little, like will shift. If you're finding that your D-pad is not, like, super consistent, another way you can do it is just go to recording. And then just save positions. And then when later on, you can just go restore positions. It'll put them back here.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so, like, some people's D-pads are kind of messed up. Like, they weren't put in, like, after a cleaning, they weren't put back in properly. Sometimes I show them that, so they, yeah. But usually I encourage them to, like, just, like, you know. But
no, this controller's brand spanking new. I just am not very. I don't remember very well.
Fair enough. I have memory. Yeah, memory is tough for me sometimes too. So for me, it's For me, it's like anything that has to do with time. Like dates are really hard for me. I don't know if you have anything like that, but
I just can't do names. No idea what names are or how they work. As you probably heard yesterday when I thought you were Pluff. I don't know who people are, what they are by their names. It's the worst.
That's okay. I have problems with names too. Sometimes when I go to majors, it's like really stressful because I will recognize a face, but that's all I get. Like do I recognize face recognition? Yes or no, and do we vibe? And that's like it. I don't get memories. I don't get names. It's just like they'll be like, "Oh, it's KK." And it's like, okay, hi. And then I have to get into detective mode for about like 5 minutes to like figure out how I know them. That said, what do you think? The other cool thing you can do with this that I find helpful for like just getting a feel for what is and is not possible is to set the DI that the opponent does to like inward or outward. Or neutral, or none, actually. None is actually kind of useful sometimes, but the idea is that none gives you the natural trajectory of the move on that character, and then inward will be like if they held towards you like as close as possible, and then outward will be the opposite. As far away from you as possible, that's where their DI is going. And I find that that getting the range of these things can help because it gives you a kind of a sense of like where between what points does the opponent move when I do things. So instead of it being they can go anywhere, it's like it's going to be this somewhere between these three ranges, and this is the normal range. If they don't DI it, this is where they go. Yeah. And then Floor Hug is useful for practicing against like ASDI down, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that this will help you because in that video that we were looking at, like you weren't sure what to do based on like you said it was based on percent, and I believe you, but I think that we can see the trajectory varies a lot. So getting a sense for what works and doesn't work on the trajectory, I think, is just generally more useful. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, this definitely also seems very useful.
Yeah. And I mean, percent sometimes tells us percent is sometimes more important than trajectory, especially when we're dealing with vertical kills and stuff like that. So I don't want to make it seem like percent isn't good. It's just that like it's just one part of the puzzle.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I think what helps me most is like knowing the flow chart. I think I saw someone in the Falcon Discord upload like a combo video on Marth like last week, and it seemed very difficult. Like the 0% one, I think it was Gosu, right? You know who I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. I sometimes talk with him on Twitter and stuff. Like we post on each other's stuff occasionally. He's from Europe, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. Well, was he doing like the super optimal like down throw like full hop or double jump near fastfall thing?
Yes. He was doing that, and he also said pivot grab on like 0% no DI, which seems very difficult. I think maybe I would just rather go for what you were saying, just let him drop and then do him like read what he does after. Like if he falls with a forward or something, or just CC it, maybe.
Well, I'd still hit him. Like I'd take the aerial. So at 0, what I would do is I would probably like hit him, and then probably down throw up air him or nair him like that, and then if he drops if he drops to the floor, then yeah, just play the dash dance grab mix up. The cool thing is you don't necessarily have to go for like dash dance grab. Like you could also like jump around him, because like think about it, he's in the air, he has to come down. So like if you go slightly above him, yeah, you can kind of attack him as he's like hitting the ground with your aerial. So you kind of like it's kind of weird to explain, but basically you're coming in on him just like you're timing your fall onto his fall so that you're hitting him as he's hitting the floor or slightly after.
Like when you scoop him off the floor, you're saying?
More like you're kind of attacking on. It's more like you're going on top of him. So here, put him to 20. Yeah, and then
a faster way to get this to go down.
I kill him and then go from there. Like that's the best way. So then what I would say is down throw, and then yeah, down throw and then short hop rising up air.
I'm rising up air.
Okay.
It's the fast up air.
Is it just that? Can you actually link another up air off of that? Can you like? I feel like you might be able to.
Let's try it.
I think we have to like fast fall, but like.
Yeah, I am. My lord. This is where my bad instant up air habit with tap jump is coming in.
Why don't you try doing it with like the button? That didn't look so bad.
Could have been worse, yeah.
I mean, it looked about as good as the tap jump one, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good. Like you F smashed accidentally, but like that looked fine.
Okay, yeah.
Those look great. Like, what are we like? Why are we tap jumping? Those looked fine. Those looked very good.
I think the only reason I did that is because there's like a very specific like you're supposed to do it with against Sheik to like hit her, like get a combo. I don't know.
Okay, and so why? So
Not Sheik, yeah. Obviously not Sheik. I just learned it wrong, and then here I am.
well, you know what? I learned a lot of things wrong too, but like that's the thing. It just don't worry about the percent so much. Like, again, this is a really good sandbox to like try things out, and I think that like when we practice getting the pickups even after we drop them, like especially if we're doing free play, that can be good for us because a lot of the situations we play in will not conform to like clean neutral. So like, you know, it's good for us to I think that right now it's important. You're learning a lot of like the game's mechanics. So I think that like one of the things I'd kind of suggest is don't limit yourself. If you find that this kind of like repetitive mode of practice works for you, fantastic. But I think that it's good to also like just mess around with things too and see what else we can come up with. Because yeah, it's how we learn the game like more holistically. That said, those are definitely much. Also, play around with like how you do your inputs because I get the feeling that if you have tap jump, you might also have some other strange methods of doing things with it. I don't know what they would be with Falcon specifically, but just be aware of like what's comfortable and what your hands normally do to like do something.
That's the only situation I tap jump.
Okay.
I'm normally okay with how I'm doing the inputs, but that's just the one. When I do instant up air, it's just easier to tap jump.
Is it though? I feel like we're like, are these with tap jump or are these with button?
These are button.
I feel like with button, we've been way more consistent about the fast fall, which is like one of the most important parts of the input.
Yeah, you're totally right. I should do that more. I just got into a bad because when you're doing it on Sheik and she's like DIing out and away, you just do it and then she'll hit the ground and you just tech chase.
Yeah.
But I should do this all the time for literally everything else.
Well, I would also say that like even on Sheik, I bet you can probably learn this like fairly well, and because like think of it this way, your hands have learned how to do up air and instant aerial with button on everything else. They're constantly getting information and like getting refined at doing that input. Doesn't it make sense to just like have them do this too?
Yeah, it does for sure.
Yeah. So we're coming up on time, like we have a few minutes left, but like how are you, like is there any feedback for me that you'd like to share? Like what did you find this helpful? Is any of this useful? Yeah, I would, if you have feedback, I'm all ears.
No, I actually I super enjoy the like snipper tool drawing. That's like how I explain things too. So like I follow everything you're saying using that.
Okay.
That's great, yeah.
Perfect. And like this, and now that we've kind of like walked through this a little bit, like this will probably become a more useful, like I think we need to figure out that D-pad bit, like get that D-pad tech skill down. But aside from that, like I think that this is a pretty useful tool that will probably help you like, learn and mess around with some of these concepts, which I think is definitely handy. Yeah, do you think you might want to, are you thinking you'll want to potentially book again, or are you going to like think about it?
No, I think I do want to book again, but I want to focus more on the, like, things, not necessarily specific situations, like we were doing the, like, oh, he's above me and his weak spot is here, like this one specific spot, but I don't really understand the process of playing space in neutral. Like I get hit a lot and I don't understand why. Like I'll do a move, oh he's dashing, I bet he'll go under me and I just do this and then they're not even thinking about doing that. I just don't understand that process a little bit.
Okay, perfect. So let's talk about we'll burn like 5 minutes. It's totally fine. Don't worry about it. But let's talk about undershooting, overshooting, and whiff punishing, because I know that you said that you provided answers to those. Undershooting, you said approaching the enemy with a move conservatively, usually at the closest point of their immediate threat range. Then for whiff punishing, okay, everyone gets that one right. Basically not attacking during your movement, and then so that we can punish the opponent's swing afterwards. It can be done with jump, Can be dash is the common answer. Overshooting. Okay, cool. So undershooting, whiff punishing, and overshooting exist in a rock paper scissors system. The one thing I'd comment on undershooting is actually, I view it more as self-defense. So if we're fighting Marth here, what does his undershoot look like? What would you say he's generally doing?
Like maybe doing a slightly forward nair, like nairs, then a little bit approaching where like near where I'm dashing.
That would count as one. I'd also say that
you're saying they would do it like they're retreating a little bit.
I'm saying that they're doing it with the intention of catching you when you're advancing. So okay. The way an undershoot works is it either hits you for standing still or it hits you for moving forward, because it's self-defense or active defense. Like if you think about the moves that people throw out in like Street Fighter and stuff to like police the space in front of them, that would be what like an undershoot is. It's meant to either protect your territory or expand your territory, but you're not really attacking the opponent per se. You're just like, it's controlling space.
Okay.
So like when Hungrybox does his bear shit, when Zane is like protecting his space with fairs and nairs, when Cody does full hop back air to like kind of like cut off somebody's ability to approach him, or those would all fall under, in my mind, fall under the purview of undershooting. Whiff punishing and undershooting have the relationship of whiff punishing is good versus undershooting, because the whole idea behind undershooting is we're putting up a fence of some kind. We're either building it further out, or we're using it to guard our space, but we're still putting up a fence in some way. Whiff punishing says that I'm going to do parkour around that fence. So if somebody's like doing lots of like nairs and bears in place, if you don't have the option to just overpower them with superior undershoots, like say using your Falcon nair versus Fox's nair in place, usually plan B is whiff punish. So in that case, like you're nairing, Fox decides, okay, I'm losing when I try to nair or up tilt in place, so I'm gonna just dance around him. So he like runs out of the way, you land, he runs back in, he up smashes you. So then the last of it is overshooting, which is basically just attacking the retreat zone. It assumes the opponent is not going to put up anything to protect themselves. So it's able to attack into the end zone as they're moving away from them. So in that same example, when the fox dashes away from you after you've seen them do that, what you might say is, okay, I'm gonna get him, and you fly forward with knee. That's kind of how the three work together. Like one of the and then for undershooting, like if you try that when he's nairing and up tilting and stuff, he's just gonna stuff you. Mm-hmm. So the three of them will kind of work in a triangle. Next time we can get more into detail, but what I'd really challenge you to think about as you're playing, or just like keep it in the back of your mind, which one is my opponent doing, and am I doing the one that beats that?
Okay, that is definitely a challenge for me, because there's no thoughts going through my head usually when I'm playing.
That's okay. Like now, if you're aware of the so let me ask you. So Marth, if Marth is running forward with dash attack, which one of the three is he doing?
Generally speaking, probably I would say overshooting, because it like reaches a little bit longer. They're trying to catch you on your way back.
Yeah, on your dash back, absolutely. Yeah. When he runs across the stage and like dash cancels into like when he crouches into tipper forward smash, like to go to the other end of the stage, same idea. Like that's an overshoot clearly. What about when he nairs or like fairs in place or down tilts in place?
That's probably. Yeah, I don't really understand the undershooting part. I guess this is probably undershooting. He's protecting the space right in front of him.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
So what is it about undershooting that you find is like kind of tough to wrap your head around?
I just don't. Are you saying like whiff punishing is? I don't understand the distinction between undershooting and whiff punishing.
Simple. Whiff punishing doesn't attack until after they've seen the opponent has missed.
Oh, so they're just waiting.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, the whole idea behind whiff punishing is that, here, I'll get you my definitions, but yeah, the idea, or did I send them? Nope.
I
It's
don't.
okay.
I don't know.
So I'll give you mine, and I think it'll make more sense when you see them. But where are they? There we go. Because I think that, yeah, you're right. The commitment part is, like, kind of weird, but tell me, like, look these over and then tell me if that clarifies anything.
Okay, yeah, this makes sense. Yeah, I get it now.
Perfect. So, all I'm going to ask you to do is, if you find that your things are not beating the opponent when you're playing, just think about for the next stock. You don't have to do it the whole game, but for the next stock, for like a couple of interactions, just look at what they're doing and what you're doing, and just ask yourself, does this line up with, like, is there a move at, like, an overshoot, a whiff punish, or an undershoot? And does the thing that I'm doing in response to it line up with it? That's it.
Okay.
And I don't want you to, like, dwell on it, because, again, like, the opponent's trying to beat you and kill you, but, like, the idea is that we're, like, getting used to making quick judgments about, like, about what the opponent's strategy is and what they're, like, going for, so then we can pick the appropriate counter.
No, this makes total sense. I actually frequently learn by just beating my head against the wall doing that stuff. So if I'm not hitting him, what am I doing? And then I look at what I do, and I'm overshooting. Like, okay, I'll just start undershooting. See if that works.
Well, so if you're overshooting, then you're probably losing to you're probably losing to undershooting. So, because, like,
I should whiff punish. Yeah, okay, whiff punish. Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
right? So now we have a structure that we can actually count on to help us, like, make decisions. So it's not as, like, nebulous and, like, wishy-washy. There's, like, a real way to do it.
No, this triangle is gonna help me. This is gonna do wonders for me.
Amazing.
So they were nebulous before. Like, you said it. You nailed it when you said that.
And now they're not as nebulous. I will say that some moves can be more than one of these. Like, Falco's laser in particular is, like, kind of obnoxious, but that's also why he's a top-tier character. But I won't spoil all the fun. I will let you go for now, but this was great. And when do you think you'll want to meet again? 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks is probably fine.
So May 2nd? Like, does around this time work for you?
Yeah, this is good.
Okay, perfect. I might have to, like, it might have to be, like, more like 7 to 8, but we'll talk, because it's just, there's a schedule, somebody's trying to reschedule, who's currently, like, in a very similar slot, so I'll need to work out the scheduling conflicts, but I'll message you, long before then, and yeah, we'll take it from there.
Yeah, we can talk, that's no problem.
Alright, perfect. Andy, this has been lovely. I'll let you go, but yeah, take care, and I hope you have fun with this, okay?
Alright, you too. Thank you so much.
Alright, bye-bye.
See ya.